Hello. In this video, I will do an Aleks exam practice test 4. Okay, so let's begin. So question 1 says, find the solution to the following system of linear equation. We have 6y minus 3x equals 15, 5/9 y minus 1/3 x equals 10, and we got to find the solution. So you do have multiple choice. You could test each value and figure out which one gives you the correct solution. The other way is you could just do elimination. Okay. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do elimination. How do I do this? So for elimination, you got to ask yourself, which letter do you want to get rid of first, the X or the Y? Honestly, there's no right answer. I think I'll get rid of the X's. I don't know why. I feel like it's easier. Um, if you look at the Y's, you have a mess, right? So I'm going to get rid of I'm going to get rid of the X's. And I'm going to multiply the second equation by the reciprocal 1/3, which would be -3. So see, the reason why, because like I had to think of a common wait, no, not -3, -9. So if I multiply everything by -9, this is what's going to happen. Yes, this will work. Because what happens is if you look, this is how I see it. Look here, you have a -3x, right? On the top you have -3x. I'm going to leave that as a -3x, and I'm going to make the -1/3 x into a positive 3x, right? Because when I add them up vertically, they cancel, right? So that's why I'm going to multiply the entire second equation by -9. So the first one I haven't done anything, so I'm just going to rewrite it. The second one I do got to FOIL this out. What's -9 times positive 5/9 y? So if you get confused, write it out. -9 times 5/9 y. The y's cancels, and you're left with 5 and a y and a negative. So you're left with -5y. Do the same thing here. What's -9 times -1/3 x? Two negatives becomes a positive, and we prove that turns into a positive 3x. And then what's -9 times 10? -90. Add them up vertically. So 6y minus 5y is y. The x's cancels, and then you're left with 15 minus 19 is -75. Okay, so I found my y. Now let's find our x. So, I mean, you can't, if you look at your choices, you have two choices that has a y of -75. So now let's find x. So what I'll do is plug in y or substitute y back into the original first equation. We could also do it in the second one, but I think the first one is just easier. So that's what I'm going to do. So it's 6 times y, which is -75, minus 3x equals to 15. 6 times -75 is -450. Minus 3x equals to 15. 450. So we have -3x, so 450. That's 15. It's 465. Divide this by -3. 465 divided by -3. It's -155. So x is -155, y is -75. So that is why it is B. Okay, here is a confusing problem that's related to solutions. So yeah, I had to think about this when I did this problem. Um, so question two says Rachel wants to make 6 liters of a 0.9% NaCl solution for an IV. She has 10 liters of 0.05% NaCl solution and 8 liters of 1.5% NaCl solution. How much of these of the two solutions should she mix together to arrive at the goal? So this one kind of have to come up with wait, a system of equation. So 0.9%, let's convert that to decimal. How do you convert a percentage to decimal? We just move it two places to the left. So it'd be 1, 2. So that'd be 0.009. The same thing here, 0.05 as a decimal. You just move it two places to the left, so that'd be 1, 2. And then 1.5% as a decimal, move it two places up, so that's 1, 2. So we got to convert it to decimal. So the first one would be 0.05% NaCl. So actually, let's keep it as a percentage. Yeah, don't convert. Yeah, don't move it too close. Let's keep it as this as 0.9, is 0.05, and 1.5. So the first equation is going to be 0.05 NaCl over liters times it by x plus 1.5 NaCl over liters by y equals C times V. The C stands for the whole. So C is going to equal to 0.9 NaCl over liters, and then the volume is 6 liters. So that's going to equal to 0.9 NaCl over liters. And then the total volume was, total volume, I believe it was 6 liters because she wants to make 6 liters. So I'm going to replace this V with 6. Um, so yeah, this is my first system equation. My second system equation is x plus y equals 6L. And then what I'm going to, so here's my first, here's my second, and then I'm going to solve for y on the second one. So I'm going to get y equals 6L minus x. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute this y value to this right here. So now you're going to get 0.9. So starting on the left, it would be 0.9 NaCl over liters divided by 6 liters equals to um, so yeah, if I multiply this y by 9, so this part right here, 1.5 times the 6L minus 6, right? I'm going to get negative 1.45 NaCl over L times by x plus 9 NaCl. And then what I'm going to do is subtract the 9 NCl on both sides. And so we're still using this, and then when you solve for x, you're going to get x equals negative 3.6 NaCl over negative 1.45 NaCl, which equals to 2.48 liters. And then you're going to solve for y, so y equals 6 times to x. We can say 6 minus, and then x is 2.4 liters, so it gives you 3.5 deciliters. So that means that would be letter A. A is going to be 3.52 liters of 0.9 NCl and then 2.48 liters of NCl. Okay, so yeah, it's just like two system equations, right? Once you have your two system equations, you use solve for x and y. That's exactly what we did. It's just a little bit more confusing because we're dealing with percentage and solutions. So yeah. Question 3. Question 3 says a bald eagle has a wingspan to weight ratio of 44 inches to 7 pounds. Using this proportion, if the eagle weighed as much as a 5-year-old human, that's to say 42 pounds, how long would its wingspan be? So what you're going to do is you're going to set it up as a proportion like this. And then with proportions, you set it up however you like. You just have to make sure that this unit connects with this unit, and then the bottom unit goes with the bottom unit. So what would be our unit? So we have a ratio of 44 inches to pounds. So maybe it could be inches on the top, pounds on the bottom. Same thing here, inches on top and pounds on the bottom. Okay, so a bald eagle weighs 44 inches, so you can put 44 here to 7 pounds. Using this proportion, if the eagle weighed as much as an average 5-year-old human, that's say 42 pounds, so you can put 42 here. How long its wingspans would be, so that would be our unknown. So we must have one unknown, otherwise it's wrong. So I'm going to solve for x by cross multiplying, so it's going to be 6x equals to 44 times 42. And I get 1848. We have 7x here, divide this by 7, and you get 1848 divided by 7. It's 264. So your final answer is 264 inches deep. Question 4R says find the intersection of the following sets. So what you have A, C, E, G, I, K, K, E, B, A, F, G, M, N, D, B, C, A. So when we say intersection, you got to figure out which of these values, A, B, or C, B, comes in both sections. So we need, yeah, something that's both in common. The only thing that is common, I believe, for everything, which I believe it's A, because you have an A here, you have an A there, and you have an A here. Uh, you don't, it's not B because you don't have a B here, right? It has to be in every point, in every section. So I'm going to say letter B. So that is what an intersection means. Wait, yes, it's just that it's letter B, A, because A pops up both points, both sections, right? Which expression below represents the following function translated right 3 units and upwards 5? So 3 units to the right is a horizontal shift, and upwards 5 and upward is a vertical shift. So all it is going to be f of x equals translate right 3 units. So that's going to be x minus 3 square plus 4. Oops, not 4. You're right, upwards of 5. So you have to add 5 here. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Letter D. Which is the correct factorization of the polynomial x squared plus 3x minus 28? So what you got to do is factor this using the simple factoring method. And then we're going to put in x here, x there, blank space, blank space. So what two numbers multiply -28 and when added gives you 3? That would be 7 and 4, right? 7 and 4. And then I believe I'm going to use -4. So check. 7 times -4 is -28. 7 plus -4 is 3. So you can rearrange this. You can also say x minus 4 times x plus 7, right? Either way, either answer works. So x plus 7, x b, x plus 7. Yes. Okay. This one says round to the nearest hundreds. So you have to look after the decimal. 2 is the tens, 4 is the hundreds, right? So this is where you want to look at. 4 is the hundreds. This one, I don't know. And then what you do is look at the neighbor. If it's 5 and beyond, you do have to round. But because the neighbor is 4, you don't round. So it's 1.24. Are the shapes similar? So here we have two rectangles. They want to know if they're similar. So how do you know if they are similar? You can look at their ratios. If their ratios are the same, that means they're similar. It doesn't mean their side lengths are the same. Their ratio has to be the same. So let's set up as a ratio. And in this rectangle, we have two sides, the length and then the width, right? Same thing here, the length, the width. So on this rectangle, my length is, we'll use length on the top, width on the bottom. Same thing here, length on the top, width on the bottom. So if you look at this rectangle here, my length is 12, my width is 2, then it has to be the same order. So on this rectangle, what is my length? 18. What's my width? 3. So simplify, what's 12 divided by 2 is 6. 18 divided by 3 is 6. This is true, right? They have the same ratio, so they are similar. This one says find the volume of the rectangular prism below. So this is pretty simple. When you think of volume, it's just basically length times width times height, unless it's like a cylinder, right? So usually volume is just length times width times height, unless it's like a cylinder. So we have everything we need. We have the length, the width, and the height. So just multiply that out. Length is 8, width is 10, height is 3.5. And I get 280 centimeters. We're dealing with volume, not square, not area, so it's centimeters cubed. So it's going to be conversion formula from degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit is given by the linear expression below. If you see on your newsfeed that it is 25 degrees Celsius in Marseille, France, how hot is it in degrees? So this one, they give you everything you need. There's no like converting back and forth, right? They're saying if you use this formula, you'll get your Fahrenheit degrees. And that's what we'll do. We'll just use this formula, and they tell us that the the weather in Marseille is 25 degrees Celsius. So it's just 9 fifths. Replace the C with 25 plus 32. And you can put all this in the calculator, and you get 77 degrees. Question 11, solve the equation. So this one's really simple. They want you to solve for y. So what would I do? Should I get rid of the fraction? Not yet. Let's just multiply across. Let's just FOIL it out. Let's see if that might automatically get rid of the fraction. So what is 14 thirds times 7.57y? So if you get confused, write it out. 14 thirds times 75 over 7. So you just remember, you just when you're multiplying fraction, multiply across. So 14 times 75 is 1050. 7 times 3 is 21. And then we have a 1. So 1050 divided by 21 is 50. So that's 50y. And then continue across. What's 14 thirds times -2? That's -28. Right? Okay, darn, that doesn't get rid of the fraction. It's okay. Double check. 14 thirds times it by -2 is -28/3 equals, oh, don't forget the side. So what's 14 thirds times -18? That would be 18. It's -252 over. Okay, so that comes out nicely as -84. And then you have -28 over 2. You have 51. And then go ahead and do the right side. So what's -1/3 times -54? So that's +54 over 9, which comes out as 6. So yeah, the only thing now what I want to do in order to solve for y is get rid of the fraction by multiplying all three sides with the LCD. So you see this over 3, I have to get rid of that fraction by multiplying all sides. How many sides do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to multiply all 4 sides by 3. So start with 3. So what's 3 times 50y? 150y. What's 3 times -28/3? -28 because the 3's cancels. What's 3 times -84? -252. And then don't forget the right side. 6 times 3 is 18. And then before, let's see. We can combine the -28 and the -252. That's -280 equals 18. And then add 280 to both sides. 280 both sides. Yeah. 150y equals to 280 plus 18 is 298. Divide this by 150. It doesn't, it's a fraction. Um, it's like 1.98. So which one of these is 1.98? Is it 3/2? No, that's like 1.5. Is it 9/2? No, it's 4.5. Is it 2/9? So no. What about 2/3? No, they're all wrong. Let me see. Okay, so it's easy to make a mistake here. So let me start from the beginning. Sorry. Sometimes you have to start again. Um, let's do the right side. Maybe this goes away. What's -1/3 times 54 over -54/3? That's going to be +54/9, which comes out as +6. And then over here, oh, I see my mistake. I multiply this 14 thirds by -18. That's a big no. So let's do the process again. What's 14 thirds times 75 sevenths y? That is going to be 10, 50, 20. Keep on going. So what's 14 thirds? Times -2. It's -28. -3. And then this is just -18. Okay. 1050 over 21 comes out nicely as 50y. And then you have -20. 6. And then I guess you can get rid of the fraction now by multiplying all three sides by the LC, which is 3. So 3 times 50 is 151. 3 times -28 over 3, it's just -28. 3 times -18 is 54. 6. And then 150y, and then -28 and -54 is -82. 582. Divide this by 150. 88 divided by 150 is 0.58. We'll reduce all the answers. Yeah, I believe so. So I think this can be reduced by by 3. What did I do wrong? Oh, right here. I mean, this is a mistake. 6 times 3 is 18. Ugh, wow, it's so easy to make a mistake. Okay, now that changes everything. So we have 150y, -28, -54 is -82 equals 18. Add 82 to both sides. Get 150y equals to 18 plus 82 is 100 divided by 150. That is our answer. So y is 100 over 150. the zeros cancels, and then you're going to reduce this by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Or not, by 5, sorry. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So your answer is 2/3. D. See, it's very easy to make mistakes, so just be careful. 12, solve the following quadratic inequality. We have x plus 4 squared minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. So this is like a test point method. See, if you look at the answer, it's all strange looking. It's yeah, it's a test point. It's called test point method. So if you don't after I can explain this, if you still don't understand it, you can look over my supplementary videos, and there's a section called test point method. So first step in test point method is you got to make sure one side is equal to 0. Sometimes they don't have it to 0, then you have to make that to 0. So it's already in 0, and then it says less than or equal to 0. So what that means is we only care about the negative sign. Okay. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is actually solve for x. So I'm going to set this to equal to 0. So I'm going to say x plus 4 squared minus 2 equals to 0, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to add 2, get parentheses x plus 4 squared equals to 2. And then take the square root of both sides. So you get x plus 4 equals to plus or minus radical 2. And then I'm going to subtract 4, subtract 4. You get two answers. One is positive radical 2 minus 4, and the other one is negative 2 minus 4, right? These are our actual values. If you put this in the calculator, radical 2 minus 4 is negative 2.5. And then minus radical 2 minus 4 is negative 5, about negative 5.4. So if you put this in a number line like this, the smaller number goes to the left, so it would be right here. This would be this one right here. So that's negative radical 2 minus 4. And then the larger, more positive goes to the right. So that's radical 2 minus 4, right? So we have to test 1, 2. We have to test 3 regions. Region 1 is a number less than this value. Region 2 is a number between these two values, and region 3 is a number larger than this value. So where do we plug it back in? We're going to plug it back in into f of x, basically this right here, x plus 4 squared minus 2. Okay, so let's test region 1. I need a number smaller than this value. So this one is about negative 5.4, so maybe I could plug in negative 6. So we're plugging it back here where we see now it's plugging negative 6. And when you put it in, you're gonna spit out 2. It spits out 2. Now I don't care about the number, I only care about the sign. Since 2 is positive, you're gonna put a plus. Okay, I only care about the sign. Region 2, I need a number between these two values, so this So this is about negative 2.5. This is I mean negative 5.4, and this is negative 2.5. So a number between that could be negative 3. So when I put that in the calculator, it spits out -1. I don't care about the number, I just care about the sign. Okay, region 3, I need a number larger than negative 2.5, so maybe I could do 0. Okay, so when I do that, it spits out 16 minus 2, which is positive 14. So you're going to put a plus here, plus there. Okay. Okay, so this is where with the symbol, this is where we come back to here. This is where we only care about the negative sign. So that is in region 2, right? Region 2. So that means our value is going to be from here to here. So it's going to be negative radical 2 minus 4 on the radical 2 minus 4. So it's going to be this one. Okay, so yeah, the last one's called test point method. So if you still get confused, you can just watch a video on test point method on my. Okay, so question 13, solve the equation. Okay, we have three sides. What I would do is get rid of the fraction, right? And to get rid of the fraction, you're going to multiply all three sides by the LCD. What is my LCD? Let's see, you have a 4, you have a 1, and a 2. So my LCD will be 4. Okay, so if you forgot how to find the LCD, there is a video how to find LCD on my supplementary videos. So what I'm going to do is multiply all three sides by 4. So starting with the left side, what's 4 times this? So what is 4 times 3x plus 7? 4. The 4's disappears, so you're just left with 3x plus 7. Okay, what is 4 times 2? 8. What is 4 times this whole thing? So it's 4 times 6x plus 9 over 2. And then 4 divided by 2 is 2. That gets rid of it. And then now, as you can see, we got rid of the fraction. Now just boil this out. 2 times 6 is 12x. 2 times 9 is 18. And then you have 3x. And then 7 plus 8, simplify that. That's 15. And then go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. 12 minus 3 is 9x. It's 18. Right, 14 from both sides. Which is -3 equals to 9x. Then divide this by 9. Get -3/9, which can be reduced by 3, so that's -1. Okay, so that's how you solve for question 13. Okay, over here, actually, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to make a second video, so I'm going to stop right here.